Hey, what's up, guys? We're going to talk about Enneagram Type 4, the individualist, the romantic. And yeah, my voice is kind of messed up. That's why I haven't done a lot of videos lately because I've been like suffering with the sinus and the cough. And why? I don't understand. But sometimes you just can't seem to shake it. And I thought, if I don't ever start this video, I'm never going to make it because who knows? I may stay like this the rest of my life. So we want to jump into Type 4s, and we're just going to look at this simple book, The Enneagram Made Easy. Um, and I just want to look at this list that's in this book about what I love about being a four and what I hate about being a four. So if you're an Enneagram Type 4 or you love somebody that's a four, maybe you're married to somebody, dating somebody, you got a child or a parent or somebody in your network that is a Type 4, I hope this video is helpful and insightful as we dive into this cool personality type. A lot of times INFPs. Put it in the comments. How many of you fours are INFPs? Just interesting how that Myers-Briggs and Enneagram sometimes go together, but not always the case. All right, so let's look at this list. What I like about being, oh wait, before we start, just a reminder, in the description below is a link to my website, tomlehue.com, where I do offer Enneagram coaching and a lot of other things, and sometimes free resources. So check it out. I'd love to work with you if you want somebody to talk to, somebody that understands the Enneagram and personalities. A lot of times, relationships can be helped as we understand each other a little bit better. The whole point of this is that we are more self-aware and have more compassion for ourselves and others. So let's jump into this list here on what I love about being a four. And I'm interested to see if you guys relate to these statements and you think they're accurate, and what maybe else you could contribute to this conversation. So please put it in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel. All right, so the first one, it says, now this is like from a four saying what they love about being a four. You might think, I don't want to be a four. I want to be a seven. I wish I was a nine. I wish I was a two. That's pretty typical. We all kind of like look across the aisle and we think, you know, uh, I can see the dark stuff in my own personality, and I feel offended when you start talking about the sin of my type or the passion of my type and all that. And maybe it would be better. Maybe I would get along with people better, or I'd be more productive if I was a three, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is we can't really change our Enneagram type. We could borrow, you could say it that way. That's good. We could borrow from our neighbors some of their characteristics and traits and work to broaden our perspective. Let's say it that way. Broaden our perspective, picking up some of the character traits or those kinds of things from some of our neighbors that might improve our life and not be so stuck in our own way of seeing things. All right, so type 4, what I love about being a 4. I love my ability to find meaning in life. Good. And, to search for meaning in life. Is this valuable? Is this important? What does it all mean? What does it all mean? I find value in my ability to find meaning in life and to experience feelings at a deep level. Yeah, well, okay, I do experience feelings, and sometimes at a deep level, but it's kind of hard for me as a seven. So it's hard for me to relate to that. We kind of try to outrun our feelings as sevens, like stay busy, stay occupied, stay focused on other things, and don't really slow down to process, or as Canadians would say, process everything that's going on the inside. And, you fours could give us a lot of lessons, maybe sevens and nines and threes, us avoidant types. You might, you might give us a lot of lessons about the value of actually like acknowledging reality, like what was done to us or what was said to us, acknowledging it, and then not, ignoring it or just quickly reframing it. Now, the challenge, of course, is for a four, they might get so focused in that it's hard for them to pick up, shake it off, and move on. But some of us, we want to shake it off and move on way before we should, and we don't really process everything like we should. So to experience your feelings on a deep level, You know what I notice? Let me just tell you from my perspective. What I notice is I'm out walking and I'm just listening to, I don't know, music or something, and then all of a sudden like a feeling will come up and I'll think, I think that feels like sadness. Uh-oh, I got a tear in my eye. I miss my kids when they were little. And then I'm like, it's hard for me to just like lean into that and like welcome that feeling. It feels like this dark cloud that's coming after me and I gotta shake this off and change my thinking and do something else. That's what it feels like. I know it's not real and it probably sounds ridiculous, but I think I need help in experiencing my feelings deep. Remember the title of the four, a healthy four is called the healer because they can help the rest of us through this process. You don't really fear these deep emotional states. And so you're able to kind of walk people like me through those deeper things. All right, number two, my ability to establish warm connections with people. And I would say not only warm, because I don't know that it's always warm, but it could be deep. I think I like that word better because I think of like twos and maybe some self preservation sixes and even some nines as being kind of like warm, like attentive and showing a lot of attention and even like some flattery, but that could seem very fake, phony, and false to a four. So I think like the ability to connect on a deep level with people, if they're willing to really get to know you, then yes, that would be a very warm connection. But I think probably a lot of people would read warm and they think like, you know, slobbering all over people. And I don't think fours, are known to do that unless maybe you're under stress and you feel like you've lost connection with somebody and you're feeling very needy or very vulnerable. But let's just go with that. My ability to make warm connections with people and to truly love people. Remember, you're a heart type. And you have this like rough exterior where I got to get to know you. I can't judge you by the cover. And once I get past the tattoos and the septum ring, and once I get past, the interesting outfit you're wearing, to really get to know you, because it's kind of like you, mother stinker, don't think that you know me just because of the way I look. And so I'm going to look in this way that might repel people, some people who don't want to take the time to really get to know the real me. It's kind of a self protective strategy. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, you tend to be beautiful in a non conventional way. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Admiring what is noble, truthful, and beautiful in life. Admiring it, writing songs about it, longing for it, um, uh, something's missing, right? I get that as a seven, but I feel like it's an experience that's missing, or actually like a product I'm missing. Like I've got a Kindle and I've got an iPad and I've got a computer, but I don't have an Apple Watch. What am I going to do without the Apple Watch? And so as a seven, it's like gluttony. I'm reaching for something I'm missing. And once that gets delivered, ooh, that feels good. My collection is full now for about 3 days. And then gluttony takes over again, right? It's just this cycle, a treadmill. Get off the treadmill. And the Enneagram helps us to see the stupid treadmills we find ourselves on and how it never really brings complete satisfaction. And Christian theology, we're never really going to be completely satisfied in this world anyway, which harkens to like a spiritual overtone of maybe we're made for more than just this world. But I think as fours, it's described more as like a longing internally for something that's missing within myself, or something that I'm some way I'm broken. And maybe this person, maybe when I connect to this person and marry this person, then they'll fill in that missing part of me. um well, how did I get all of that from there? Admiring what is noble, truthful, and beautiful in life. Yeah, truthful honesty. Fours can be brutally honest, like eights and sixes sometimes. Um, okay. Next is I appreciate and love my creativity. man, you see that four wing three, like just killing it in business because they're going to make unique stuff. They're going to make stuff that stands out and sets them apart. And in order to have a good business, you can't just sell the same thing everybody else is selling. There has to be some kind of thumbprint on it that makes it stand out, or else it's just white noise. And fours, I think, totally understand that intuitively. Like, what about this thing I'm doing sets it apart in some way? Creativity, intuition, and a sense of humor. Intuition, like being able to just know stuff without necessarily knowing why you know it. You just know it. I think a lot of nines are like this too. A lot of, especially the sexual nines, which look like fours sometimes. It's kind of like, it's almost like you've worked out this muscle of like being able to go inward and know how you're feeling and digest what you're feeling and knowing yourself. And then this muscle starts to expand out into the world where you can kind of pick up things that other people just might not pick up. And that's called intuition. So almost like sometimes like a psychic ability to like be able to read things that aren't there. And if you're a four wing five, you probably have some kind of interest in dark or occultic or morbid things anyway. And so I could definitely see this ending up, the witch on the Enneagram is probably a four wing five, and the wizard is probably a five wing four. Just interesting stuff. Not necessarily, don't send me hate mail. You think I'm a witch? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this intuition and this desire and ability to just kind of know stuff and want to know more, like want to be able to access more, developing that sixth sense, so to speak. You already have this intuitive or sensitive. You said I'm sensitive. I remember one time my daughter, who's a six, said, "Dad, do you think I'm sensitive?" And I said, I'd say you're pretty sensitive. What? Really? I was like, well, kind of verifies it right there. Okay. Which sensitivity is not a bad thing. Like, shouldn't some of us be a little more sensitive? You may have heard when you were a child, "Oh my gosh, you're so sensitive," as like a criticism. And what it means is like you wear your feelings out there where everybody can like, and you know what will happen? You'll probably pull them in and like, "Well, I'm just not going to feel anything anymore." Self-protective stuff. And that's not really the answer. All right. Okay. So my sense of humor, yeah, a lot of fours can be kind of ornery and funny and okay. One of the challenges though is to learn to laugh at yourself. You know, one of the things the Enneagram helps us is in being less offendable all the time. Are you offendable all the time? Do you get offended easily? Remember, fours are a reactionary type, 4, 6, and 8. What do they mean by that? What are they trying to say? They don't know me. Are you easily offended? Or can you lean into that five wing and just be like, who cares? So what? Let them. Whatever the phrase is that you have to say to yourself, like, we get so like attached to our identity, our personality, that we trust all these things about it. And then when somebody attacks that and says, "You're boring and unoriginal," how does that make you feel? You're like, wait a minute, my whole personality is built on not being boring and being original. And then they call me boring and unoriginal? And so to be able to like relax that and realize like, I'm not just, and this is where it gets into that weird metaphysical idea of your false self and your true self. Anyway, that's for another video. But okay, good stuff. Isn't it fun to talk about this kind of thing and think about it? How many people never even heard of the Enneagram? And here you are, this master learning all kinds of interesting things about yourself and others. I love being unique and being seen as unique by others. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm an ENFP, so I get that value on individuality and uniqueness or authenticity, being true to yourself. And yeah, right now I'm just wearing a t-shirt and shorts, because I like to be comfortable and I live in Daytona Beach and it's really hot, right? But I love interesting clothes. I love rock stars. I don't think I can really dress like one, but like when I think about and I'm old, right? So when I think about like Aerosmith, like Steven Tyler, and he's wearing all kinds of beads, and there's like handkerchiefs hanging off of him, and he looks like a pirate. Like, why can't we just all dress like that? But see, I'm not really like a four. Like, this really feels true to me. It's more like, this is cool. This would be fun. This would change things up and lighten the mood. And it's a totally different motivation than I think fours have. But I love uniqueness. It's just weird though. Like when I'm out on the street and I see somebody who, in my opinion, looks like a four, they're standing out. Let's just go really stereotypical. You're gonna hate me and be like, Tom, you suck. Okay, but just go really stereotypical and say, let's see this like awkward teenager who's got like big black eyeliner and the hair is dyed from black to white to bright green or bright pink. There's a septum ring. There's tattoos. I'm wearing all black. I'm literally walking around St. Augustine, Florida, like vacation capital, and I'm wearing all black and like combat boots, and I have this like sullen look on my face. And okay, and I just see that and I'm like, this girl's probably a four. Probably four wing five, kind of like dark and morbid and withdrawn, and maybe like an INFP or maybe even an INTP or something like that. I don't know. But I just want you to, from an outsider's perspective, from a stupid seven dad walking down the street, it's like this person is working really hard to draw a lot, to be completely standing out. Everybody else is wearing, jeans and a t-shirt, shorts and a t-shirt. It says Daytona on it. It says Orlando. It says Mickey Mouse. And they got their big floppy bucket hats on and riding in their little power chairs. And then, in the midst of that sea of madness and that sea of conformity, there's this person who's like obviously standing out, right? They're literally, you know, what's the word? Steampunk. Okay, a little bit steampunk. And I like it. I'm like, that's cool. I like it. I like that rock star, that kind of like outcast, outlier. I like all that look. It's just, I don't know how to respond to it. I don't know if I'm supposed to notice it and be like, hey, great septum ring. Love it. Is that a cross? Oh, it's a pentagram. I got you. I mean, I don't know. What are you expecting? Are you expecting people to look at you and say something? Or because I think most people probably look at you and kind of look the other way. And then they sort of tap somebody on the shoulder and they're like, we got right there. And it's like, I think that people may not know how to, they don't know what you want. Now I get it. You want to stand out, be different, and you're reflecting that even in the way you dress. I just wonder, like, what kind of reactions do you get from people? Do you get reactions from people? Do you welcome it or do you abhor it? Like if somebody were to say to you, oh my gosh, what is that tattoo on your face? Mommy, why does that lady have a tattoo on her face? Do you welcome that? Do you think, oh yeah, and somebody noticed my tattoo on my face? It's a dragonfly because my grandpa died and he, whatever. Do you want that? Or when somebody does stop and point at you and talk to you about how different or weird or special or unique, whatever it is, do you think, don't talk to me? Why are you looking at me? Why are you bringing this? I'm just saying, I don't know that the normies out there know how to interact or give you what you want. Because you obviously want something. You're sending out a sonar message. Look at me, world, I'm different. Look at me, world, I'm not like everybody else. Look at me, world, I'm not afraid to express myself. Look at me, world, I'm being true to myself. What if you don't get a response back? Or what if you get a response back that's not the one you expected? And I just think this could be exhausting at times. But I'm not a four. And I'm not claiming to be a four. And I'm not even claiming to really understand you. So I don't think this mother, he thinks he just knows me. He doesn't know me. I'm not saying I do. I'm saying I'm one of the people trying to understand. So let's appreciate each other, right? I'm just trying to understand. Okay, being unique and being seen as unique by others. All right. Having aesthetic abilities. Tom, why should we hire you for this job? Well, I have aesthetic abilities. I think what that means is like I tend to know when something like feels perfect, and I tend to know when something feels clunky or awkward or there's no feng shui here. How's your feng shui? Do you have good feng shui? And I think fours are probably more likely to sort of tap into that Japanese bonsai tree feng shui. Like, this room has good energy. This room has negative energy. We need to take those off the wall and replace it with that. So I think like that designer ability to just kind of see and know what fits and what doesn't fit. And then also to leave that room with a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of pizzazz. Where a one is just going to tidy it, right? Make it nice. The four is going to make it amazing, like Technicolor, right? Okay. And then the last one is being able to easily pick up on the feelings of people around me. Oh, I bet that's always a great thing, isn't it? Being able to like intuitively empathize with other people. I think a lot of nines are like this as well. It's withdrawn types. But fives, I don't know that fives are necessarily as good at that. But being able to like pick up on the feelings of others, especially if somebody's being bullied or being, traumatized in some way, it probably sparks something in you to defend that underdog, I would bet. All right, so what's hard about being a four? What, Tom? You have no idea how hard it is to be. No, I really don't. I mean, I listen to your music like Nirvana and I think, wow, that does sound kind of like painful. Although I tell you what, during a dark time in my life when I was feeling kind of beat up and spit out, I listened to it like every day, several times a day. And I'm old, so it's going to be something old, right? But Elton John's song, I'm Still Standing, I think Elton John's a four. And that song is like a big middle finger to all the people that put you down or don't believe in you in a very four way. The message is a very four message of like, you thought I was done, but I'm not done. I'm coming back. And, I love it. It resonates. And it's like this happy beat about being knocked down and getting back up again. And it's kind of like, you over there, you don't know what it's like. That's a very four statement. You don't know what it's like. And go put your mask back on. Very four kind of statement to the world. All right. So what's hard about being a four? Experiencing dark moods of emptiness and despair. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. It makes great music. It makes great novels. It makes great philosophy. I just don't want to live in that. But maybe you don't either. You're like, Tom, well, we don't eat. Well, it is what I hate about being a four. What's hard about being a four? Getting kind of stuck in that Tim Burton dark world, Coraline and Corpse Bride and just kind of that gray, black, what's her name? Wednesday, Tuesday. I think she's a five, but you get the idea of that Addams family kind of dark world. Emptiness and despair. Isn't that Nirvana? I mean, to me, that's kind of like their music is dark moods of emptiness and despair. And you're probably because you are a four, like Nirvana. Oh my gosh, that's so cliche. Haven't you ever heard of Poopty 2? Because you always love music nobody's ever heard of. Nobody heard of Poopty 2, okay? But you like go searching for the outcast, searching for the outlier. I can't like what everybody likes. I can't like pop music. I can't like classic rock. I can't like what is normal. I have to go on a search, a quest to find what doesn't fit in. And even your music choices at times. Look at your playlist. I bet you don't have any Beatles on there. I bet you don't have any Beach Boys, Eagles, Boston. Oh my gosh, Tom, you're so old. No kidding. Okay, next. Feelings of self-hatred and shame, believing I don't deserve to be loved. Yes, you do. Come on. Stop. What's wrong with you? No, I get it. I mean, you kind of beat yourself up. It's maybe like a story you tell yourself. I don't fit in. I don't belong. Nobody loves me. Christmas just doesn't work for me. Christmas just doesn't. You have no idea what it's like, Tom. I don't. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be like, I guess I'm You see my sevenness, right? I've had people on my YouTube channel say, you are not a 7. You are a 4. You are a 6. And I'm like, what? How? First of all, why are you telling me what my type is? Something's backwards here, right? And then, what? You guys that are 4s and you watch me, do you think, yeah, Tom's probably a 4? You know I'm not a 4, right? You know I'm a 7. You're like, Tom's clearly a 7. I'll tell you something that 4s are really good at, though. Because 7s, sometimes they have like this sad underbelly that they don't really deal with. And some of you 4s can help us like sniff that out. You can sniff out a sad 7. You're like, that 7's got some stuff they need to work through. I'm gonna dig in there and find out. The healer, right? Like, what's your tragedy? Tell me your tragedies, Tom. But yeah, I don't relate to that. Feelings of self-hatred. I can get down. I can be like, oh man, I screwed that up. I hate my life. But it's over that fast. I don't like dwell on it. I don't ruminate on it. I don't, beat myself up. Resilience. Get back up there and get back at it. Sure, you're going to lose. Man, you're going to lose all the time. You better get used to losing because losing is normal. Every once in a while you win, but most of the time you lose. That's just life. Okay. Feeling guilty when I disappoint people. And the reality is, man, if you grew up with a dad who was a 1, they're already disappointed. I mean, you probably just get to a point where you're like, I don't even care anymore. But inside you do care because you're a big heart type, right? And so inside you do care. But your exterior is like, I don't even care anymore. I can't please him no matter what. And it's probably true. And that's got to feel awful, like to constantly disappoint. If I ask a 9, what's the worst feeling in the world? A lot of them will say, feeling like I disappoint people, feeling like I let people down. That is a terrible feeling, right? When the person that you look up to looks at you and goes, choke them. Don't really choke them. Okay. Feeling like I disappoint people. And often it's like as a 4, it's just like in who I am. It's not like I did something to disappoint them. Like I myself do not measure up. What's the point anymore? I give up. Because it's like me. I'm inherently flawed. It's not something I did. It's not because I got pregnant. It's not because I ran away from home. It's not because I quit school. It's just me as a person disappoints other people. And so you could get kind of cold and, callous and like even stop trying. Like I don't even care anymore. Well, you probably do care down deep inside because it doesn't feel good. It feels hurtful when you feel like you can't win or you can't connect to somebody, or no matter what you do, it's never good enough. Feeling hurt or attacked when somebody misunderstands me. And 4s are easy to misunderstand. I think at the end of the day, 4s long to be loved. They long for connection like everybody else, but fear rejection. And that fear of rejection could cause you to kind of keep your distance with people. And when you feel like you're getting too close, to kind of push away a little bit because you might feel like you're being engulfed by somebody and you don't want to lose your individuality or lose your identity. And also, what if this person eventually finds something out about me and then rejects me? That would be so painful. I might just want to end this now. I might just want to test them now to see if they're really going to love me, or do they just love this persona of me that they think they understand? Am I close? Okay. Expecting too much from myself and life. Okay, let me just say a word here. You yourself get very disappointed. You yourself get very disappointed with life, disappointed with relationships, disillusioned with the office and the people. They're so fake, they're so phony, they're not real, they're not genuine. I thought they were my friends, but then they betrayed me, they backstabbed me, they gossiped about me, they left me out, they didn't include me. So you can be very disappointed. Fearing being abandoned. And that's that rejection, right? A fear of rejection. Nobody wants to be rejected. Okay. Obsessing over resentments. Mm. And I would say that's like going back into all of the things that have been done to you in the past as you grew up as a child, and ruminating on the past and ruminating on how it's not fair for you. And remember, the sin is envy. So you're going to find all kinds of ways in which you've been mistreated, in which you've not been loved or taken care of. You've been rejected. People hurt you. They traumatized you. And it's kind of like you go back into that very comfortably and want to talk about your past hurts, your broken relationships, your past traumas. And if somebody says to you, "Oh my gosh, I think you need to just go over this. Oh my gosh, how many times do we have to talk about your feelings? Oh my gosh, it's time to move on." If somebody does that, which they're prone to do, you're going to feel minimized, diminished, not valued, and misunderstood. And I would even say re-traumatized by that person. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. So it'd be far better for people to just listen to you and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's terrible. That should have never happened to you. Come here, give me a hug." That would be far better. Or I can't even imagine how difficult this has to be for you to process all of that. You're very strong to endure and persevere through so much. That's such a better message than, "Well, you know what you did wrong. You should have never been their friend anyway." A lot of people, mm, you know what I'm talking about. All right. Obsessing over resentments, longing for what I don't have. Oh, that's something you share with sevens. But again, I think it's more like personal, like something in you that's off or missing, where we're more like an object. I want guitar. I don't have a Gibson Les Paul. I need that guitar. Okay. So let's just end there. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's encouraging, challenging, fun. Maybe you learn a little bit of something else about yourself, see yourself in a new light, or the person that you love, trying to get along with each other and love each other. And let's be present to life, guys. I'll see you next time.